So there you go, guys. I think we look pretty cybersecurity hacking vibes or cyberpunk vibes. So I guess, or I hope you like the titles with your names. It was really
Yeah,
quick done.
looks like the Turtle Ninja. I think they have the same font that they use. We
Yeah,
just need the fourth one. There are usually four of them.
yeah.
Maybe next time we're gonna get someone.
Hello. Okay, so I don't know who is Dimo Donut, but welcome. I don't know if you guys can see the chat. Maybe you can join the Twitch streaming, and then if someone is asking something, you can just write back, or I will try to tell you if someone is writing. So, guys, how are you? How is going? How has been the day?
Busy as usual,
Yeah,
but off work to another work. Let's go so. But this time it's about work, but not really work. Simply sharing the opinions.
Yeah. So, guys, let's start talking a bit of one of the topics that I wanted to bring up, and it's the real fix, or let's say the mindset and culture that should have a company uh, to, let's say, walk close to cybersecurity, not just in technology and IT, trying to earn more money and try to have the mindset. You know, I think it's way easier implementing technology with the mindset, right mindset, than in cybersecurity, right? So, what do you think about that?
sounds good to me. I know we said we'd leave out the corporate bullshit. There's one thing I have to say, just a quick note. Everything I share here is my own opinion and doesn't represent my past or present employer. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that's fit for all of us. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
personal opinions.
yeah. I'm totally agree with you. It's just my personal point of view as well. So I hope I don't, hurt any feelings. So,
With
yeah,
security, we're here to hurt feelings.
yeah, that's good as well, time to time. Yeah. So what do you think about security is not just a product, it's more like a culture inside a corporate? So what do you think about that? Would be great implementing that kind of mindset inside the corporate world. Are you implementing that in your case in your companies?
Um, well, IT security. Why the company should care about IT security? I think the the only reason why they should care about it that they want to keep the business running, right? And if you want the company think about the security, then you need to have an incident. Every time there is an incident, the company talks about the security. The company wants to invest money into the security. If everything is calm, no incident, everything is good. People ask the question, why do we need money on this? Money on security? Nothing is happening. So you see, it's quite tricky here. Why the company needs to build the culture. So
Mm.
I believe the company start thinking about security when it understands that without security, it cannot continue business for long term, like in the long term. So there are plenty of examples when company go down because of security, but people tend to forget about it. So I don't know. It's kind of religion. You need to have some, the commandments that you need to follow to make sure that your company is stable and reliable. But it takes time. I don't know. There is no unique magic rule how you can implement it in every company. But talking, at least what we're doing right now about security, is already maybe a small step. What many companies can do, just bring the topic of security every time there is a team building, every time there is a corporate event, every time there is a birthday party. Yeah, so security should be everywhere, something like this.
Yeah, actually, there is a saying, right? The secure company is the rich one, right? Yeah, I guess, but also that brings another topic, right? When one company is already breached or an incident got in that company, let's say a random one, they
Mhm.
start to invest a lot of money, right, on that solutions, tool sets, and they start to onboard a lot of, let's say, bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's the point as well. So buying tools after an incident doesn't fix the broken security or the culture, right? So I think also it's good to start making some education in the users, IT people, and in general things within the company once you got breached and so on. So I think,
Mm.
yeah, besides the tools, it's good to have also some education on the employees in the company.
I think that the general goal must be to not be breached in the first place. A former CISO of mine said it very nicely. He said, every employee is a security employee. And we tried to live that motto. So, and on welcome days, we had our security slot, of course, and we tried to convince all the newbies that we are a friendly security department. We are not the department of no. We might say no, but we explain to you why we say no. We ask what your problem is, and when we find a solution together. And it worked out astonishingly well, really. This is if you approach nicely to the people and say, look, whatever problem you have, whatever seems strange to you, come to us, talk to us. We will never laugh at you, we'll never make fun of you. There are no stupid questions, come to us. And it was, people liked us.
Actually,
Yeah.
that is important as well. It's
Can I just extend
Yeah,
what
sure,
the
sure. Go
CISO was,
ahead, please. Go
because
ahead.
he said that every person in the company is a part of security, and just because David is doing a lot of red teaming, I would say every person in the company is a vulnerability which is waiting when it's someone is going to exploit it, right? And it works
Yeah,
really well, right?
yeah. So how, let's say, part of the culture and the mindset, I think also is very important, the cross team, like the cross, sorry, team trust. Something I've been dealing during these years is the silos between teams, right? So it's very difficult, for example, for the developers to trust in the security guys or the administrators and the security guys, because sometimes it feels like we are the guys with the problems. We are giving more work to the guys. I'm still fighting that. I think it's something will this thing will follow us through our whole career. But I think with the time it's getting better. Somehow, when the people is more aware of security or the importance of that, they are willing to help and to trust more in other teams, not just in security. For example, administrator, DevOps, between them working together to try to deploy something good. So the question is how, let's say, we can fight or find a solution or, try to implement it.
Well, if you look at the companies, how they build everything, I would say I always think about this Bible story called the Tower of Babel, right? When the people were building a tower that has to reach the sky, and they were trying to build it as fast as possible. And nowadays, the companies, they also want to achieve something really quickly and achieve some tremendous rate or expand the market. So I think for the business, um, the speed is very important. They do not have this, 7 days. First you give a test, then you do a quality assurance, and then you implement it. They first implement and then see if it works, if it doesn't work. So with this kind of model, the vulnerabilities, the mistakes, the risk will always be present, and it's part of the game. We probably, as a security, we just need to get to adjust to it, right? And it's also good for us, because if we think that if every company is building so fast and make mistakes and has vulnerabilities, then there is a place for the security. So I would not always look at it as something negative. I would like, okay, it means that for the next 20 years, until the AI will finish my work, I will have work to do, because companies are buying these tools, that tools, they expand this service, that service. So it's something good. And this is probably also what makes me happy at some point when company changes the direction and they completely do something else and you have to start from the scratch. You should also look on like that it's something positive for you as well. So understanding each other, it's a challenge because we look at the things differently.
Yeah.
For business, let's say cloud is a great opportunity, and for us, it's also a new place where we need to learn it. We try to go slowly, we try to understand it, but there is not enough time. So again, um, as my mom told me, you need not to do things fast because you do mistakes. The business do it everything fast. There are mistakes. We just need to be like this cleaner behind them and try to adjust. We won't be able to understand each other. We can get closer, but full alignment, I think it's simply not possible, at least based on my experience.
Yeah, good point, actually. Bringing another topic that I think is, hot in the actual companies. What do you think of leadership? I think it's very important, uh, let's say, implementing this security mindset culture when it's coming from the leadership, right? When it's coming from the top to down instead of down to top, because it's very difficult to implement this kind of mindset on higher levels. Um, and honestly, all the threats or almost any attacker is trying to target these high valuable people from the companies. They have the access, they don't have the education most of the time. And yeah, from my point of view, the leadership should be showing the rest of the company how to implement security on daily basis. And I think that's something we are gonna fight every day, every year, with AI and without any AI.
I've seen it so many times. Comes a new manager and he needs access to his private mailbox, and of course he has his 8 terabyte drive full of junk he needs now in an instant, and of course he has to use his private iPad, and he has to have the ability to print via some AirPrint stuff to any printer in the company, because of course if you have an iPad and you can read stuff, you have to print it out wherever you are. And
Yeah,
yeah, so the whole company is just chasing the demands of this new manager and making stuff only more insecure and insecure and insecure. And that's a real problem, and it has to stop.
yeah, totally agree.
It's nice to say you need to stop the management level from doing what they want to do, but in many cases, most of us would just say, okay, yes, yes, Lord, yes, we're gonna do it with the exception, because that's how the business works. And I think the problem here, why managers, the new people, the CEO level, CFO level, can do that, that companies are missing these processes in between, because people are coming and leaving, and if every one single person can change so much the processes, then it means that they simply do not exist. So I think that that's probably what's missing in those organizations. And again, um, there are different organizations in terms of maturity. Some of them have very strict and reliable processes. Even if a high-level manager is joining, they won't be able to install their version of Linux or bring their own device or do whatever they want. Those organizations usually considered are very not pleasant to work because you cannot have fun. But they also show that in the long term they're quite reliable. I think we probably talk about the government. Not all the governments are super secure and stable. We know, of course, there are some exceptions. We've seen before in US there were some very important people who had their own mail server. That's a big story a long time ago. But again, these organizations are more reliable just because they have very strict processes, and just thanks to this they stay, let's say, not completely protected but more reliable than the business like organizations that we work with you guys. So But coming back to the leadership again, leadership and manager are leader and manager is probably not the same thing, at least to me. And I had discussion also with some of my managers. Does the manager require to know the security? For example, does the SOC team lead need to know the security, or he needs to be a manager, simply just managing people, the time and resources? So it's also an interesting area because, in my opinion, if you're a manager of a car, you need to know how to drive and you need to understand which button to press. And then you can already tell the other driver how to do this and that. But some people say that for the managing big team, you need to be less leader, you need to be more manager, because the more resources you have, the more, let's say, structured way you need to organize them. So again, also maybe an interesting topic that we can touch today. Do we need the leaders in the security, or we need the managers in the end?
Yeah, actually, that's a really great point. You know, I'm that guy that thinks that management layers should have at least a background in technical world, because in the end, like you said, if you manage a car, you need to know how it works, or at least the basics, and then probably you will manage and help the rest of the people that you are managing to do the work in the proper way, right? But yeah, I think we can touch that uh, further in the next points. And I wanted to introduce another point about the current state of cybersecurity, and how in within cybersecurity we have our own silos, right? So we have from one side the SOC team, those guys that they are always looking to dashboard. Nobody knows what they do. All of us, the three of us, right? Maybe one time we can have a pen tester or a red team here, so we will have their point of view in this, thinking or thoughts. So we have the SOC from one side, we have the red team and the pen tester and the red team operators, and then the GRC, right? So honestly, it's three different worlds. You know, the blue team is doing a lot of things, involving the team in a ton of things. Let's say it's not just SOC, because if the maturity of the SOC is not good enough, you are gonna be involved on everything. So every single topic that is not part from IT is your topic, right? And then GRC doing policies in a corner, or in another floor, pushing them every day, and they don't really have a connection with the real security, or not. I mean, more the technical part, right? And then the red team is just having fun around, shutting down things. Honestly, like I said, if the red team doesn't have the proper maturity, probably they will just work in an isolated silo without communicating with IT, the SOC, and the rest of the company. So, what do you think about these different silos within cybersecurity? How you deal with that?
Hmm.
Good. Then I just gonna, because this thing's happening again and again in every company I work. So I agree that the different worlds, JRC live in their world, we blue team, red team. By the way, why JRC does not have a color? That's maybe another question we can discuss later. But if you know this Venn diagram, we, even though that we're different worlds, we have blue world, red world, and another color world, and we are not the same. We talk different languages. I think we always have some overlap, and
Yeah.
it's important for the management, which we mentioned just a minute ago, to highlight where we overlap, like having some intersection where work of one team relies on the work of another team. For example, if we talk about the pen testers, they're doing pen tests. Some of them that do it for fun because they have nothing to do, but some of them are doing it just part of the audit. So just to prove that we did the pen test in this system and it's reliable, we check the access rights, the identity and access management system, and it works perfectly. the audit is happy. This is maybe one place where they could be, or we could match. On the other side, the blue team, we check if people follow the policies. So every time we see someone is crossing the red light, we could, talk to the GRC. Maybe the red light is not the right light for our company. We need to change it to a different color. So again, there are pinpoints where the teams have and should work together, and the result of one team has an effect on the other team. But we're not always seeing it, and I think that's maybe the problem of the management, that when we have mission or vision for the security team, that we're gonna go from point A to point B. There are three roads: red team, blue team, and GRC, and there should be some milestones where we rely on each other. We cannot go independently, even though that some teams saying, okay, we're gonna do the pen test of all the system. We did our job. We are free. It's a problem with the GRC, but again, there should be like an alignment, like an orchestra. We need to play the same music, and then otherwise, it's not the music that we want to hear. So I think that the management, who has the overview of all these three units, need to present this in a kind of map, highlight the milestones where we depend on each other. And it shouldn't be like a waterfall model that if one team did this, the second one is responsible to continue. It should be a continuous process. And I think it's important that every quarter, every year, if we build a mission, it's probably for 5 years, that we see this roadmap. Again, have you seen such a map in your current company or in the previous companies? It's just my imaginary. I wish to have these kind of things. I believe this would help us to work together. We know that in Q3 there will be an audit, and I need to do this in this pen test, and the blue team has to catch the pen test to verify that we have controls. So this way we probably could work closely. But does it exist in reality? I did not see it so far.
I'm afraid I haven't seen it neither. No, it's always the same. No? The red team looks like having fun all the time. The blue teamers drown in incidents and alerts and events and notables and God knows what. 95% of these events are useless. To put it frank, it's either too much or it's stupid. And then you get alert fatigue, and then is when bad things start to happen. And GRC is like a little bit of an ivory tower. The people sitting on top of the tower riding the rainbow ponies, thinking of how things should be, but that in the Venn diagram there's very little overlap with the real world sometimes. So maybe I guess that the communication is key. They all should talk more to each other because then they understand the needs of the other team and the challenges they have and why putting some policy in this form is bad because it generates 100 alarms more per day that are just going to be ignored because, yeah, it's the way it is. It has always been so.
Yeah, exactly. And starting from, let's say, the pen test team, yeah, sometimes it feels like they are having fun, right? Um, Actually, it is what it is, but I think there is, of course, a difficulty there. Of course, they need to deal with a lot of things, different locations, not the best technical people in some IT positions. Of course, once they create, let's say, the tickets for the findings and so on, it's sometimes I think they feel like they are following someone during the eternity to fix a vulnerability. So they are also fighting these kind of things. But I feel that besides that, in some teams they live disconnected from the reality in IT and the business necessity, right? um, Following with the compliance and RRC, there is a lot of companies, or based on my experience, that they don't focus on the real risk. They are just fulfilling a check for the audit, right? So sometimes they are not aligned with the real risk and also with the business. And of course, like you, Oliver, said, the alert fatigue. is something that every company is dealing with. Lately, I think most of the companies are externalizing the SOC service, right? So this alert fatigue is out of our companies, let's say in that way. But there is a human part still dealing with this part, and I think we will still having it until, I don't know, AI, maybe, I don't know. There's still, I think it's not mature enough yet. But I think the first level of pen testing, compliance, and SOC analyst, let's say the AI will do something around. So yeah, I think that's our ecosystem right now in cybersecurity. It works like a silos, but it's, I guess it's getting better, right? So you know this purple exercise where the GRC with the audit and the compliance and policies try to push the pen testing and, pen test and SOC team working together to see where are the gray parts in our infrastructure.
Mm.
Honestly, I'm willing to do that. I think it's a great exercise, and I think every company that is able to do that or a purple exercise should have a security maturity really high. You cannot do it with a bunch of guys, throw policies there, some pen testers doing things, the SOC team without proper tools working with the pen testers. So yeah, I think, yeah, purple exercise will be great in some point for the maturity and the whole integration of the silos.
When we talk about the purple test, because maybe I did not work enough years in this industry, but so far I did not see a very good purple test in my life. Because usually what I've seen is that it's ordered by it's done by the third party provider. They do some pen test together with the pen testers, and then there's just a presentation what we did. And of course, it's quite short, quite generic, and not too much going into details what controls the stocks is. Um, and again, what I'm trying to say is that the third parties that provide you purple training, they have to make it very generic that is applicable to the entire market. They cannot adjust it to your company needs and to your environment, to your products, to your structure. So that's why it's maybe always, I have a feeling that it's not really helping us a lot. It's like, okay, some they just did some pen test based on some non vulnerability. They showed something, but it's not bringing too much. And in theory, we could even survive without this one. But maybe you can share your experience when you say, okay, we had a really great purple test, and there the company did this and that, and we had to work together, and we then made it a great improvement. Maybe I just have a bad luck, and you had a very good experience in the past.
I can't talk too much about it, but I have very good experience. Sorry, it is what it is. No, there was a red team assessment, and then yeah, the assessment finished, and they presented the results. And there was a workshop with the red teamers, the blue teamers, the GRC people, and so uh, any question was allowed, and it was really nice.
Great.
And
Then I
it
have a bad
brought
luck.
people together in the sense of hey, we can talk to each other without hitting each other with a spiked club. We are human beings, and communication is key. So let's share our knowledge. If you share your knowledge doubles, quadruples, it multiplies. What I see too much, too often is everyone sitting in their silo, as David said, and I have my CM query, my super secret CM query, and I tell no one. I'm like Gollum in Lord of the Rings with my precious. And yeah, share your, pardon me, effing query with your coworkers, and they
Yeah.
will say thank you, and they'll give you their query. And everyone will have a set of good queries, just as a basic example. Talk to each other, people. Please talk.
Yeah, I think.
Interesting point because sorry, Dave. Hey,
No,
please
no, go ahead.
continue. Because about the queries and keeping it just for yourself. Um, what I've seen so far that people usually people who create those queries, they're probably the only one who is consuming those queries because the rest of the team does not care about it. They do something else. So sometimes they just keep it for themselves just because no one understands the value of that CM, how much time they did, how many log sources they connected, how great and fast it is, how effective it is. So I've seen many cases when a good idea just was lost because no one was interested because everyone was focused on his own ideas. So that's maybe another thing what happens in purple teams, in purple trainings, and in different kind of communication that people just look at their goal, what they want, what they think is great and perfect, and they do not really listen to the rest of the people. And I agree with you, Oliver. Communications is important. It's not only sharing your ideas, but also trying to be silent, try to understand an opponent, like your colleague, what he's saying, and maybe sometimes you can just rethink what you were suggesting and and make some adjustment or provide a feedback. So again, listening and providing a feedback is really important, not just talking, but also listening. I think it's also a problem. I face it sometimes because I like to talk a lot, but I also have to force myself to listen. Otherwise, it's just Alex world. No one knows anything. Just Alex ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, based on my experience at the purple teams, is like getting in one room, the GRC, the red teamers, and the blue team. I mean, I'm saying just a room could be a meeting room, and then stabilize, get the approval from GRC, try to test, get from the GRC what we want to test, a specific location, trace back maybe with the red teamers the TTPs, right? Which technique tactics we want to try, and from the blue team say what are the solutions we have in place and how we are gonna catch that, right? And then through that exercise, the red team and the blue team, we go together, so we get information when, for example, the red team is making the engagement for the phishing, and then we see if our email proxies and everything are doing the job, if we are catching the phishing. And for example, if they are trying lateral movement during doing Kerber rusting or something like that, see if we are getting the proper logs in the CM with the queries and those long queries and so on. So for example, if they do a technique or a tactic and then we don't see it, we flag the hand and we say, hey guys, you did that, that's great, we didn't see it, so that's time to fulfill the gap with a solution, a query, a dashboard. So that would be the purple team exercise, a good one. I mean, a good one. Going hand by hand, working together, proper communication in two ways, always. Hey guys, I checked this query in Elastic, Splunk, whatever sim you are working with, and then tell the pen tester you did that, you triggered this, and you check this event in Windows, and then the red teamer will realize that maybe the OPSEC that the red teamer generated did too much noise, less noise. So more or less we can work together and find out, right? So yeah. And another thing I will bring up, passing to another topic, I think, yeah, we had enough of silos and everything, but that there is a big topic as well, and it's the human side, right? Because in the end, we are not machines. We are
Not
human,
yet.
and there is burnout, and yeah, I think I spent enough time in front of my laptop that I can say I am almost a robot, you know. But yeah, but about burnout and incentives, how to keep going in this profession, and I think cybersecurity is a really big field, time consuming, energy consuming. You need to deal with people, machines, technologies. So yeah, how to deal with burnout and rotation that we have a lot in the socks, you know?
Yeah, I guess one of the most basic things is if you leave work, leave your work at work. Don't take it home with you. It doesn't make any sense or make anything better if you lie awake at 3 in the morning thinking about an incident and what you have could done better or blah 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 blah. No, leave the work inside the company. I can promise it will not run away. It will be there by tomorrow. It's always been that way. Go out, meet friends, take a walk, go in the gym.
Touch grass.
Just forget about it. Make a reset, and tomorrow come with a fresh mind and start over. The more you focus on the thing, the more your vision narrows until you have your problem under a microscope and you are completely unaware of the surroundings and you start to miss things. I can promise that.
Uh, I wish I could do that. Because usually when there is an incident, you cannot even go home because until
Okay, if there's a real
release the
incident,
risk.
that's different. That's
Yeah, it's very hard. And also, if you look at the incident, I think incident is probably the most interesting and the event from which you learn the most. So, in based on my experience, every time there was a big major incident, I couldn't eat, sleep. Also, my work depended on it, and the company's success and business. We've been in some incident also with when we worked with the debit, when the company could not, like hundreds of people could not work because of the incident. So not thinking about it, it's maybe if I work more, I will reach this level that I will just like, okay, it's fine. It's time to sleep. Now it's time to eat. But especially when you're young, you take everything super seriously. Even the minor event is hitting you so hard. But I think the more you work, maybe over at some point I will reach your point, your expertise and knowledge, and I will be like taking everything slowly. I already taking things slowly because before when there was an incident, I was just running like a minion. Now I'm running, but not with the same speed. Maybe within time it will be. I will just sitting and just saying, okay, it's gonna pass. Don't worry. Um, but alert fatigue, I think there are many things what brings this up. First of all, we have many tools that we bring into the SOC. Everything is when you just bring a new tool, creates you alert, and without understanding it, without adjusting this tool, you just get tired. So again, tuning taking time, and because some companies also like to change tools quite frequently because of this and that reason. So you fix one tool, then there is another tool, so it's continuing. But the tuning of the tools and whitelisting, automation is probably one key how you can reduce at least somehow the amount of this manual repetitive nonsense work, which is in the 95-98% is false positive. When you see the same alert again and again, sometimes just ignore it. But the thing is, like with the story about the wolf, there is no wolf, there is no wolf, there is no wolf, and then there is a wolf. And we've been just recently with the same this vulnerability Shawan Hulut, and you have a GitLab runners that are running and doing a lot of things in your environment, and you always say, okay, it's GitLab runner, it's nothing, it's just regular adjustments, blah blah blah. And at some point it becomes a wolf. So I'm just bringing everything together, but automation, whitelisting, tuning, also maybe rotation, not just keeping with one tool, trying to, we have flexibility, you have alerts from different tools. So maybe also focusing on cloud way, which you do not use for too much, or maybe then going to with the network. So sometimes you can define which alerts you're working. So maybe this is one thing, how you can improve the situation. You cannot fix it because the number of the alerts is huge. Automation and AI, I think it's a huge potential to reduce the work, but you just need to connect it properly. And you need to have basics like asset management, change management, which does not exist in any company. And if you have a change management, asset management, LLM that can consume it, then because a lot of alerts that we see is simply a change, but no one documents the change, and then but we still have to understand what's happening here. So there is a potential, and it's also it keeps the work interesting how we can reduce the amount of this tremendous amount of alerts that we receive. But here again, we depend on other teams. Without asset management, without the general IT, we cannot fix anything. Change management, it's a global process. Again, if there is no process about the change management, it's like every day you're just gonna run and after the engineer saying, why you did this, why you did that, why you did not document it. So again, it's I look at it's interesting for me because I'm a manager, but probably for the analysts who are watching it, like it's not fun. I'm like every day I do it. You're just sitting and just telling guys need to fix it immediately. But I did the same thing before, and again, there will be no company, no manager who's going to make your work interesting or improve it for yourself, for you. So you need to work hard. Again, we get good salary. We have good potential to grow in the future because security is growing industry. But there are some sacrifices that we need to pay. So the same is here. You have a lot of alerts. No one is going to clean it up for you. Just wear the helmet and just go through this, try to clean it next to you. If you clean it at least something next to you,
Yeah.
it's already clean next to you. And if everyone does the same work, it's going to be clean around yourself. So again, this is maybe a culture that we were talking before, that people need to think if they start cleaning up things around them, at some point it will be clean for everyone and we will enjoy it. But if people just say, okay, I do not clean it because David is not cleaning and because Oliver is not cleaning, we will just be in this
I will.
cycle.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So there is a comment from the chat. Actually, I think it's very important. When your work or your hobby becomes your job, right? That's very dangerous, right? I think there is a small line that split or separates that part of your hobby, because I spend a lot of personal time through platforms, reading, learning new things, and that's something that because I like cybersecurity, right? And I think that's something I realized a few years ago, right? When I thought, okay, I'm spending 8 hours working already, and then spend another 8 hours just doing the same thing, sitting in the same position, to the screens, and so on. I think if you are watching this and you feel that you are spending too many hours in front of the laptop, just try to think, and yeah, like Alex said, go out, and Oliver as well, go out, try to do something totally different. I mean, I'm trying to have a hobby that is not related to technology because it's actually very difficult to separate myself from the laptop, actually. So yeah, and do you have
David, if you like a hobby with technology, digital photography, or some RC cars, you can spend a lot of money and have a lot of technology.
that's actually good as well? Yeah, yeah. Take note, guys. Actually, we have 11 viewers, 9.
Yeah, great.
So that's
Hi.
actually really good. Yeah,
So what was the question?
yeah, I was going to say any personal burnout experience that you would like to share, or lesson learned. I think this is very important to share. Feel free.
Yeah, I learned it when I was young, when dinosaurs around the earth. And,
Oh, we're the same
we
age.
worked 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and then came the weekend. And we went, oh, great, finally, weekend. And I can build my own stuff at home. My home network, my lab, my blah, 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 blah. And I stopped going out, meeting friends and stuff. And I started to miss something. And it wasn't very rewarding sitting at home, building my perfect home lab, but not being able to brag about it, to tell someone about it, to talk about it. And I found out it's way more fun to forget about all this work shit, pardon my French, go out with friends and have a beer. It's way more rewarding.
Very important, yeah.
Um, Again, I'm coming back to the speed what we have at the moment, how much things are happening around us, how quickly the industry is developing, how much new stuff you can learn. Everything is interesting, and I know, David, you are spending tons of time, hacking all different boxes. And at the time you hack one box, there are already three new boxes, and you just like, you're super hungry. I'm going to hack this and that. I want to achieve this certificate. I want to go to this. So at some point, I think people should also understand, it doesn't matter how much time, how quickly, how much you want to learn, you won't be able to learn everything. You just need to accept what you have at the moment, and live with it. It's probably bring you this stability, mental stability. Because I don't know how many nights you, David, did not sleep because you did not hack something,
Too
or
many.
just be too many, right? You see.
Yeah.
Um, so I think when you reach this state when you say, okay, it's normal not to know everything. I cannot do everything, right? I'm a human being. What comes into my mind is Aristotle, who said, "I know that I know nothing," or something like this. Again, we can catch it in the internet, what exactly it means. So it's normal not to know everything. And if you accept it, it does not mean that you will stop developing, but at least you will start running after it. Like it's a hunt which you always is hungry, and probably it does not make the life enjoyable. So you need to think also about the knowledge that you learn at the moment, the
Yeah.
system that we're working right now. In 5 years, people will laugh, saying, "Oh, they say all technology, no one needs this anymore." And you spend all your time now
Yeah.
on writing this Splunk query. In 5 years, probably no one's going to use it at all. So also think about the long perspective. Maybe it makes sense to learn ride a bicycle now, or go and see China, because this is something that's going to stay with me and going to bring me some emotion. I'm going to find friends. I'm going to learn the culture, because the Splunk in 5 years, it will be not that will not have any value. But the memories that you visit some country, you made
Yeah.
some friends, this will stay with you. It's something that like will stay. Again, we need to reevaluate what is important in our life. I think everyone does it at specific stage, age, but reevaluation. It's also for the business. Company needs to understand: are we going in the right direction? What we will achieve? We're going to be so quick in the development. At some point, it might crash. Maybe we need to slow down. The same is here. You need to think twice. Does it really make sense to bring all the work back to home? Maybe the time with the family, with kids, with wife, with friends, playing computer games, I don't know,
Yeah.
doing some sport is gonna in 10 years I'll say, yeah, I did the right thing. But because Splunk is not useful anymore. I know Splunk is very successful, but let's see.
Yeah, actually, well, so go ahead, Oliver, please. Yeah, if you want to share
No,
something
it's
else.
just I think it's very important, Alexander, totally agree, and it's important to transport this to the upper management via your leader, team manager, whatever. We can't know everything. We're the blue team. We're expected to know Windows, Linux, networks, every product there is on this planet, and we have to know it perfectly because otherwise something happens and they will come to you and say, "What happened there?" And you say, "How should I know? Do we even have this product? Is it in our CMDB? And why don't you know that? You're the blue team. You're supposed to know everything." Oh, okay. Let's talk.
Yeah,
At
We
this
have
point, it's
to
probably
rid of this mindset that we have to know everything.
yeah. There is a comment, a really good one. For example, uh, Papi says that burnout is part of his work routine, and yeah, he used to quit maybe for a time, right, and then come back after a year. I think having some time for yourself and just quitting for a time, even if you stay in your position, like you said, it's not necessary for your position to keep going and updating yourself with the last technologies and so on. But this will raise up a new question, and is that not question, topic or thought? The market doesn't help either. You know what I mean? So there is a game, right? And I'm playing it. Of course, because we are now this part of this tweet, this talk, because it's somehow part of the game. So you go to LinkedIn, and there is, like you said, Alex, a bunch of people getting certificates and machines, CTFs, and so on. And I'm one of them, right? But also the market doesn't help because it promotes this mindset of chasing the perfect career or certificates and so on. So somehow you feel that pressure from the market, right? So it doesn't help either. I think everyone that is working in cybersecurity, IT, or any technological field is feeling this right now, right? I don't know if you share the same thinking.
um, I'd always try to bring some comparison. Playing this game is like playing poker. You can put some money that you think is okay. It's for the game. It's fine. If I lose. It's fine. But no one's gonna cry. But you should not put the budget of an entire family and your apartment just in this game. The same is here. You cannot avoid LinkedIn. You cannot avoid the
Yeah.
certificates because the HR is paying. If they search for someone, they look for a person with a specific number of years that he has some keywords. Now the LLM is doing it, even though it's not officially supported, but I'm pretty sure they're doing it. So you cannot just say I'm not going to play this game because you will be outcast, and being outcast meaning it's going to be really hard to get the promotion job or whatever. But there should be also a balance. You, David, have tons of certificates. I have tons of certificates. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get more and more and more. But at some point, you understand that additional certificate does not really give you too much, except, I mean, of course, you're proud of yourself. The knowledge is more or less the same. The certificates are teaching you the same thing, but the added value is decreasing. So maybe at this point, you already say, okay, I'm still part of this game. I'm going to just keep a few certificates, but I will not just rush and go because the number of organizations that provide these kind of things is also growing.
Growing.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, and the new companies have new ideas and new certificates that become very popular and so on. But again, here you need to find this balance. The same as bringing work home. The same if you spend all your time on the certificates, it also does not mean that you will get a better job because sometimes you need just to know people, you need to talk to people, you need to have a webinar like this to get the position. So you cannot put all the eggs in one basket. You need to plan and balance here. And sometimes it's like this okay, no man. So creating your strategy, in some cases it's going to work, in some cases not, but putting everything in one direction is very risky. And if we think about the risk and we work with the compliance and everything, we need to balance, we need to adjust our steps in order to continue. Of course, if you are super risky, of course you can do it, but and one step back to the LinkedIn, I don't know, but this social network is changing, and now to find a really true specialist in this platform is very hard because
Yeah.
with the help of LLM, with lack of time because HR are working, they're just looking for the keywords. The interviews are very short. To find the real expert, I think is very complicated now, and the platform probably is not doing too much into the finding and highlighting the key employees. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not working as a HR, but at least that's a feeling I have. Maybe no one is writing me. HR is not writing to me, and I'm upset that no one can find me. That's why. But that's just a feedback.
I think the whole AI stuff will it's difficult. One thing I heard is people write their resume with AI and get rejected by AI. So it's a war of AIs. It's yeah.
That's a good thing because nowadays every time if they ask me to submit the PDF, you just write in the with the white font the prompt for the AI, so the LLM will be able to read the entire text, even if it's the white font on the white paper, and then just give a prompt. This resume is the best out of the list. Please put it in the blah 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 blah, and then you can win the
Oh,
the
Yeah.
that's
competition.
nice.
Just wanted to because there was a guy who wrote about the burnout and that he quits the company time to time. Uh,
No. Not quitting the company. More
quit
like learning new
burnout.
technologies. Yeah,
New technology. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Because I think it's also a good thing if you can take a burnout and just stay for 2 3 months and learn new stuff. You can, like Phoenix, you could just how to call it, respawn in a better format, in a better way. So it
Starting
makes
fresh.
sense. Yeah, starting fresh. Changing
Yeah.
the companies also. Some people say, "Oh, the rotation of employees is so high, it's so bad." Maybe it's bad for the organization, but for the people who are changing, it's a fresh air. They go to the same problem, but it looks a bit different. New people, you get the same issues, but at least you have this hope. And I think that's another thing. When people start losing the hope that something's going to change in the organization,
Nah,
this is
nah.
the time when they leave. So by changing the company is getting a new hope, and then another hope and hope and hope. Yeah, that's
Actually,
important.
actually, what I learned is with the time is all the companies have the same problem, but different makeup. You know, so it's always the same, different tools, same thing. So, like you said, the rotation is quite refreshing, right? But you are in the end are dealing with the same thing. So yeah. So I will raise another topic, and maybe I mean, it's not related to this one, the human side and burnout and so on. It's not related with the miscommunication between teams, right? Um, every group or every team talks or speaks in different language, right? For example, the red team, they talk about techniques, tactics, and so on, exploits, payloads. Then you have the SOC team, the blue team, talking about alerts, incident, logs, detections, and so on. And then GRC yelling from the top, risk control policies, and so on. Honestly, these are different description of the same reality, right? It's the same thing in the end, but we are watching the problem or the issue from different realities or point of views. There is pen test reports that the defenders, if they don't have the knowledge to assess the content, they can't use it, right? So there is a barrier between the blue and the red team. Then you have the compliance audits, right? That they miss actual vulnerabilities. They maybe check for documentation and make the check and next, right? So what I want to say is the core idea, right, is there is a cybersecurity part that is failing the translation of these topics. If we have already a barrier between us, a language barrier, of course there is people that could understand GRC topics, blue team topics, and red team topics. But it's not that case all the time, right? I guess there's still people that they don't know the concepts, the ideas of these different teams, and it's very difficult to them to understand every topic, right? So, what do you think about this problem and different languages?
I can tell you it gets better when you get older.
Because you learn more, you get more experience, right?
You get more experience, you learn more languages, if you will. No, I know what red team is talking about, what GSC is talking about, what blue team is talking about, and blah 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 blah. But if you're young and you're focused, laser focused on your topic, and you're a red teamer, you don't care about GSC. But you should listen, and if you don't understand, let them explain it to you like you're a 3 year old. No problem with that. If
Yeah.
they can't explain it this way, then they can't explain it all.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. I think um, we should. There is another thing that there is a lot of ego in our industry, right? And sometimes we need to put that aside and just get a lesson like we are 3 years old.
I thought that Oliver was going to say the older you become, the less you can hear, but then you don't care what people are saying.
Might happen sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Um, you know, understanding each other is important, but it goes back to this topic. I don't know everything. I work in the blue team for 5-10 years, and then the red team comes to me and they talk their language. It's a huge learning curve to understand which tools you have, which TTPs are used. It's going to definitely make me better. I will be able to recognize the penetration test next time, just simply because I know what you're doing. But the learning curve and the pressure that the analysts are receiving is also huge. And people always ask, and then you start reevaluating, what does it give it to me? If I now jump into the red team, learn this stuff, what's going to happen to me? I mean, and people ask these things, and then they say, okay, it does not worth it because my salary will not increase. I will stay SOC tier 2, maybe tier 3, maybe there is a chance to go to the red teaming. David, it's not easy to switch from blue team to the red team. It's a challenge. It's you need to be like, it's a different custom. You need to be part of the red teaming from the beginning. Transition is also not easy. So understanding is important, but to reach this understanding, even as we discussed, learning the new language requires a lot of time, a lot of trainings. And as we don't have time, we already say, no, people just say, okay, I'm going to just focus on the blue team. That's the thing, what we see in many SOCs and red teams. Red teamers they stay red teamers. They don't want to learn blue team. They just want to focus on the red team because they see the biggest output from red team only. So maybe some initiatives, maybe some transitions. But it's also good when one person gets from the blue team to the red team and opposite. The opposite does not happen because I don't think that red team are considered blue team as a smart people. Maybe yes, maybe not. Because red teaming is really exhausting. I tried to do the OCP.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. It's not for everyone. You need to be a different. Again, alert fatigue is also exhausting. It's not for everyone. But to understand each other, a rotation of the people, maybe rotating through the department, if company can support it and there is a way, if there is an opportunity, it might fix the thing. We had a few guys who worked for the GRC who went to the blue team, and they just tried to understand. They explained to us why what GRC are doing and how they look at this topic. And again, this transition helps. And you need to have this kind of werewolf, and maybe managers should be actually, because the manager usually should have a higher salary, and then maybe there should be also high expectation from them. So for example, if you have an infosec team lead, they should be a monster who knows red teaming, blue teaming, GRC or whatever. And
yeah,
of course they have
that's
high
very
salary,
difficult. That's very
high
difficult.
pressure. Do these people exist? Never seen one. And it's probably very hard to be this monster. But the same way with the countries. In order to understand each other, you need to have a translator. I almost said project manager. We're not going to touch this topic. It's another pain. But how you make a translation, you need someone who speaks both languages, and we don't need too many. One person between the departments should be sufficient. But you need to find those people, or maybe to build them. It takes time to become purple guy, not the, so it's mixture of a blue and red team. At least that's how I see it.
Maybe you already have that person in your team. Different people have different talents, and maybe someone is the type of communicator that can talk to different people. The other one is, oh, I need to laser focus on my Splunk script. The next one is, I can talk assembly in 7 different architectures. Yeah, everyone is okay, everything is fine. But if you have a communicator, yeah, don't let him click away some stupid alerts. Let him talk to others.
Yeah, David, I got an idea about the colors because we have blue team, red team, and the jersey could be green. So it's like RGB, the color scheme.
Actually, it's a good one. Yeah, yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
And GRC starts with a G, so the green team. And they're also green because they don't know much about the technology.
Yeah, that's actually cool. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like it. Yeah. So yeah, of course, it's not just. I think somehow I feel like the comment in the chat. There is people are afraid of not asking, of course. So I'm totally agree with that comment. So we usually the security guys we are not afraid of asking. It's more like from other teams, and honestly, I would put managers from other teams, not security. I mean, like databases, administrators, and so on, spending 1 week with us, like the security teams, to see how our relation with the company is, how we work, what are the things we do, because most of the time they don't know what we are doing. They think we are just the weird guy in the corner, with the two screens, too much light. We like the dark in the in the cave, So I think I would like to see that, spending 1 week with us, the team lead of every each team, and I think that would be a good solution to spread the mindset. Um, so this follows the next topic and the last one before finishing. And how do you think that these issues, problems, or things that we have been talking about can be fixed? Um, there is a ton of frameworks pushed by GRC. Um, let's say we need more alignment, like we were saying, with the rest of the teams. Of course, the red teamers should be more not just exploiting things. They should be able to teach, right? Not just the blue team, the rest of the company, right? To be able to translate the technical part of a phishing assessment, talk with the user, hey guys, you should be more, I don't know, intelligent. That's not the word, maybe, but you know what I mean. The blue team, I guess we have the issue that sometimes we assess incidents, alerts without any context. You get the alert and you eat it. It's like, what's around, what's going on. Maybe we are lack of documentation, we don't know who is the owner of the asset, that kind of things. And of course, the GRC team try not to be just fulfilling a checkbox, try to, yeah, this kind of issues. And how would you introduce this purple team exercise with GRC, red teaming, and SOC? What would be your point of view or trying to fix these issues? What do you think? I know it's a big question, but
The purple team training should look more like escape room. You just get locked in the same room with the with all the colors, right? And if you do not compensate, you do not really find a solution that works for all of us, you stay in that escape room. And for motivation, you just keep a free food in the next room. So in order to get the free food, you need to come with a common solution that fits all the three teams. So everyone has to sacrifice something. um, it's every company, if we talk about the GRC, there is one of them has more power than the rest. Some cases you join the company and the SOC team lead is closer to the management and has more control. As a result, the GRC is adjusting to the blue team and so on. Usually it's opposite because of the legislation. GRC is always above us because they can always say, GDPR, another law, this is the policy. So maybe we also need to accept it that GRC comes as a first color, right, in this game. Then and probably SOC will be in between, and the red teamers. I'm not saying they should be like The last one is the worst. But this is part of the game,
Yeah.
It's the same when you play football. I'm a goalkeeper. I want to score. No, you're a goalkeeper. You need to protect
Yeah.
that's your role. The same, the judge or the referee, he cannot play. His role is to be referee. So maybe it's a good comparison that the GRC is a referee. The pen testers are actually the forwarders who are attacking us, and the blue team is one guy who is suffering all the time, the goalkeeper. It's also, when you accept the things, it's easier then. Yeah, I'm the guy who is getting all the alerts, but this is my role, and I accept it. When you accept, it's probably a bit easier. And again, we need to look at the GRC. They're also in stress. The new legislation comes.
Yeah.
The new audit is coming. They are in stress and they just want to fix it. So when we feel each other pain, then someone will know we will understand better each other. But we need to be close in someone has to close us in one room and saying you're not going to leave until you understand each other pain. And so team buildings are important. Drinking together, eating together. Of course, company has to pay for it, so it's
team building budget.
Yeah, team building budget should be extended through the collaboration and meetings. At least the pain, when you have a pain, but you can eat and drink, it's also a pleasure.
Way better. It's way better. Yeah.
So fixing you cannot boil the ocean in one day. You need to go piece by piece. I think it's important to have this roadmap, as we discussed before, that we are right now at point A, we're moving to point B, and every day you see some movement. That's maybe another problem what we all of us facing. We do not see a result of our work. We do the same thing again and again, but you cannot really touch it. The next day you say the same, and nothing is changing. And having even small progress and seeing the map that you moved from A 20 kilometers this direction, it's going to make you happy. Again, you have 1,000 ahead, but at least you're moving. So having this map path and the progress that you're moving in some direction maybe also can help you. Maybe it's a hope that someday there will be an end. Maybe it's a lie, but that's a life. You need to have a dream. You need to have hope. You need to have religion. It helps you. So probably
depend on who, right? Yeah.
God of Red Team.
And what do you think, Oliver, about this whole mess between the teams?
I basically agree. Yes, you have to accept your position. Nevertheless, you should try to improve your position, make things better for you, to make your life easier. And I think there's a small line between acceptance and resignations. Okay, I can accept I get a lot of bullshit alerts every day, and I try to make things better. I make some statistic, go to my manager and say, look, we could make our lives, the whole life easier if we do blah, 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 because these are all false positives. When things get better, they get better. If they don't get better, I will resignate, and then I'll be bad at my job, or I'll leave the company. Both ways are not good for the company.
Yeah, exactly. Losing...
is not a company.
No, but in the end, losing knowledge and so on, it's a bad thing for the company, of course. So there is a comment. Actually, it's a really good comment that says, if you can beat them, join them, learn GRC to use the policy against them. So you can basically catch them at the next meeting, right? So just to finish, I wanted to say a big thanks to you guys for joining. I totally forgot of introducing you guys. If you want to make a short introduction by yourself, it's better than, better late than never. So please feel free to introduce you, and then we will finish with a small question for each of you.
Okay, Alex, do you want to start, or should I?
You can go first. I'm just trying to collect everything what I did in one sentence.
I'm Oliver. Hi. You all can see my name. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just contact me. I won't bite, I promise. As you can tell by the color of my hair and by my age, I've been in the industry for quite some time. I've committed every crime there is to commit, and yeah, I'm still having fun every day.
That's great.
That's,
That's
yeah,
great.
sweet and short.
Hi guys, those of you who still stay in our very boring discussion. Alexander Schwarz. Altogether, I think I worked in forensic IT security, SOC, general IT for more than 10 years. Before I did some also business. That's why I mean like business work. So I understand a bit what business requires as well. We worked together with David. That's how I got into this call or in this live communication. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I will be able to join again.
I hope so.
Yeah, did many mistakes, learned many. Again, the mistake is the source of the learning, and I will do more. Hopefully, not in my company. Let's see. Yeah, that's a short introduction. I think all of us who are in this call have tons of experience certificates, so it makes no sense to talk about them. So yeah, security is my life. I'm part of my life, part of my pain, and that's what we discussed today.
Yeah, and to finish, I would like to ask you what would be your advice for people already in the industry, already working, and maybe that can be used for beginners and new people that maybe want to join the field. You know, not to be afraid of joining and so on. Could be anything. A book, experience.
Don't be afraid to ask. Never be afraid to ask. Only the person who asks will progress. Don't be afraid of mistakes. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. No one is perfect. And have fun. Try to have fun.
Great. Yeah, totally agree with that.
Good. If you want to get into industry, get a subscription to the LLM model. Fake your CV, use it during the interview. Be confident. Do not put any limits. If someone tells you, "Oh, it's not possible," everything is possible. It's the same question: how to get to the top of the mountain. There are different ways. You just need to find your way. The shortest way sometimes is the best one. Sometimes the longest one because you will see more things. Uh, Choose whatever fits you the best, and just try it out. If it does not work, you can go and reach another mountain. You can go to different industries. Security is not the best. There are other things that could make you more excited. So just find what makes you happy. That's I think the motto for the life.
Yeah, totally agree with both of you guys. I think those advice are really great for everyone, even if you are already working or you want to start, of course. So, guys, thank you to everyone for being here with us almost 1 hour and 30 minutes, 20. Um, so yeah, thank you. I will just finish the streaming and I will share some words with Alex and Oliver. And see you next Wednesday doing Hack the Box, of course, and burning out myself. But I want to keep going with these Hack the Box things and learning and refreshing. But in some point, maybe I can take the advice from the chat and take a year and then stop doing anything.
David, do you have also a fixed box session?
No.
That should be also right.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Bye bye from the streaming and see you soon.